Stop trying to fix your life by chasing people, chasing success, chasing approval, chasing peace outside yourself. That is why you are tired. Paramahansa Yogananda taught something most people never hear in their entire lives. He said your life is not falling apart. Your attention is. You are pouring your energy into everything except your own soul, into old wounds, into other people's opinions, into fear, into comparison. And then you wonder why nothing grows, why peace feels far away, why God feels distant. Yogananda said the truth plainly. Nothing will fall into place around you until your attention stops being scattered within you. Stay with me. By the end of this video, you will understand exactly what he meant and exactly what to do about it. Yogananda taught that attention is not a small thing. He called it life force, the same energy that animates your body, your breath, your thoughts. Where your attention goes, your energy goes. He said most people leak this energy without even noticing. A few minutes worrying about tomorrow and are replaying an old argument. A whole evening comparing your life to someone else's. None of this is dramatic. None of it feels like a crisis. But Yogananda said this is exactly how a soul becomes exhausted, not through one great disaster, but through 1,000 small leaks. He taught that the very first step on the spiritual path is not meditation. It is noticing where your attention is going. Because you cannot offer your energy to God, to your purpose, to your own healing, if it is already spent on things that were never yours to carry. Yogananda often said that peace is not something we find. It is something we uncover by removing what is in the way. He compared the mind to a lake. When the lake is still, it reflects the sky perfectly. When it is disturbed by wind, by movement, by constant ripples, the reflection breaks apart. Your mind is the same. God's presence, your own intuition, your deepest knowing, they are always there, like the sky above the lake. But a restless mind cannot reflect them clearly. This is why Yogananda taught that the first discipline is not waking up early or eating a certain way or any external rule. The first discipline is honesty. He said you cannot build a peaceful life on self-deception. You cannot heal while pretending you are not wounded. And you cannot grow while defending the very habits that keep you small. He would ask his students gently but directly, what are you feeding every day? Your purpose or your fear? One of Yogananda's most important teachings was about the relationship between suffering and identity. He taught that pain, when it comes, carries a message. It is meant to teach you something and then move on. But he warned that many people do something very different. They take their pain and they build a house inside it. They replay the same memory. They rehearse old conversations. They keep the wound open by returning to it again and again. Yogananda said this is not healing. It is the opposite. You cannot expect a wound to close if you touch it every single morning. He taught that the soul's task is not to deny pain, but to learn from it and release it, to take the lesson and refuse to live there permanently. This is what separates a soul that is asleep from a soul that is awake. The sleeping soul repeats its story until the story becomes its identity. The awakened soul studies the story, extracts the wisdom, and lets the rest go. Yogananda taught that the mind is like a temple, and you are meant to be its guardian. Every day, visitors come. Anger knocks, fear knocks, jealousy knocks, desire knocks. He said not every visitor deserves to enter, and even when one does enter, it does not deserve to sit on the throne of your awareness. This is the heart of Yogananda's teaching on meditation and self-mastery. You are not every thought that crosses your mind. You are not every feeling that rises in your chest. You are the one who can witness it. He taught that the ability to observe a feeling without becoming it, is one of the greatest spiritual powers a human being can develop. When anger comes, observe it. Do not become it. When fear comes, watch it pass like a cloud. Do not let it steer the soul. This is not suppression. Yogananda was very clear about that. It is mastery. And mastery only comes through regular, sincere meditation practice. Yogananda often pointed to nature to illustrate spiritual truths, and one of his favorite images was the ocean. The surface of the ocean is disturbed by every wind. Waves rise, waves fall, but beneath the surface, the deep ocean remains calm, undisturbed by what happens above. He taught that the soul is like the deep ocean. Our moods, our emotions, our circumstances, these are like waves on the surface. They will always rise and fall. That is simply the nature of life in this world. But Yogananda said our task is not to eliminate the waves. It is to learn to live from the depth beneath them. He taught that a person who builds their peace only on good moods, good circumstances, and other people's approval will always be unstable, because all of these things change. But a person who anchors their life in the soul, in God, in their own daily spiritual practice, that person can remain steady even while the surface moves. Yogananda taught that spiritual transformation does not happen through one dramatic moment. It happens through small, repeated choices made faithfully over time. He compared it to the way a yogi trains the body and mind through daily practice, not through one extraordinary effort, but through consistency. One morning meditation kept, one honest moment chosen instead of an excuse, one temptation refused, one breath taken before reacting in anger. He said these small moments are not small at all. They are the bricks from which character and ultimately spiritual realization are built. And just as importantly, he taught that we are always practicing something. If we practice impatience, impatience becomes our nature. If we practice complaint, complaint becomes our nature. If we practice calm, calm becomes our nature. Yogananda's entire path, self-realization, rests on this principle, that the soul is shaped day by day by what it repeatedly chooses to attend to. Near the end of many of his talks, Yogananda would return to one central idea. He said that the soul becomes exhausted when there is a gap between what we value, what we say, and what we actually do. When your mouth speaks of peace, but your habits feed chaos, that gap drains you. When you say you want to grow, but you keep looking backward at the past, that gap drains you. Yogananda taught that alignment is itself a form of peace. When what you believe, what you say, and what you do begin to match, you stop leaking energy. You no longer need to perform. You no longer need to prove anything to anyone. You simply become quiet, settled, and whole. And from that wholeness, your outer life naturally begins to reflect your inner order. This is what Yogananda meant when he taught that the outer world is, in many ways, a reflection of the inner world. Not as punishment, not as magic, but as the simple, natural law that a focused soul creates a focused life. Yogananda's wisdom does not promise an easy path. He was honest about that. He said the spiritual path requires real discipline, real honesty, and real sacrifice of the smaller self in order to discover the greater one. But he also promised something extraordinary, that beneath all your scattered attention, beneath all your old wounds and habits and fears, there is a soul that is already whole, already at peace, already connected to God. You do not need to chase that peace. You only need to stop scattering yourself away from it. If this teaching reached something inside you, sit with it in silence for a few minutes before you return to your day. And if you want to go deeper into Yogananda's actual teachings on meditation and inner mastery, I leave some resources in the description below. Jai Guru.